Welcome back to Apple Tree Allotment. Down here on Saturday morning this week. Come down nice and early at 6:30 in the morning to beat the heat a little bit. It's going to be about 25 degrees Celsius today. It was similar yesterday. It was quite hot for us. So I've come down nice and early. It's only about 16 degrees Celsius at the moment, so it's nice and cool, so I can get on with some jobs. Been down here a couple of times this week to water. I'm trying to do sort of good big water three times a week rather than come down here every day. So I came down, I think Wednesday I came down as we were passing anyway. Yeah, but all looking good. Got a few things to do. I stopped off yesterday as we were passing the stables near us, and I got some manure. There's some horse manure that was free, so I've got 3 big bags of that to put in the compost bin. Trying to build the compost bin up this year, so we've got plenty of compost to top the beds up in spring. So I've been putting lots of greens in it, and any manure I can get hold of as well. So I'm going to get them out of the van, bring those down and empty them into the compost. And then the other job I'm going to do today is I'm going to clear this chard bed. So I'm going to take all this old chard that's going to seed, and it's all finished now. So I'm going to get that all out, clean this bed up, and I'm probably going to pull this green netting off while I get into it. And then I've bought some more chard seeds, so I've got this pack of I just got it off Amazon. It's from Heirloom and Perennial, and it's rainbow chard. So I'm going to get those in the ground. So these are good for you can either sow them in spring for a summer crop, or July and August for a winter and spring crop. So hopefully, if I sow them now, we should have some chard going over winter and into next spring. And I'll make a note and try and sow some more in April for some summer crop as well. But that did well last year. I think I planted it a bit later last year, so it'd be good to try and get a bit more growth going earlier, so we can have it sort of towards the earlier part of winter, when everything else is sort of dying off. So those are my jobs today. Other than that, just do a little bit of weeding. There's not really much to do. There's a couple of little bits in some of the squash beds. So just keep on top of that. And other than that, just a really good deep water after all the heat we've had the last few days. Just having a little wander around the plots and seeing how everything's doing. The peas we sowed last week, so I planted little plants that I'd grown in a pot at home. They're all doing okay. They've all done okay with this heat. They're still trying to get started. I'll just keep trying to keep them on the canes, get them going, see if we can get them growing. But they're still going, so hopefully they'll do okay. First early potatoes I think are all pretty much done now. They're all falling over and going yellow. So I think it's safe to say they're all ready to harvest. So probably another week or so I'll probably cut all the tops back, and then we'll start harvesting more of them as we need them. We've got, from this bed, we took them home last week, and there's definitely at least three or 4 weeks worth of potatoes there. So we've had some really good jacket potatoes out of them this week, and yeah, we've certainly used them quite a bit this week. It's nice to have fresh, fluffy potatoes. They were really nice. They were Maris barred, and they were really good. On the other side, we've got a different variety. So be interesting to see what they're like. The second earlies, they're also starting to sort of come over a little bit. So yeah, not long till they'll only be coming up as well. I try and leave them in and use them as we need them, rather than storing them all at home if I can. Store some in the ground. Although it would be nice to use some of these boxes. I was hoping to try and get some beans in some of these boxes in July, and also some beetroots. I'd quite like to sow some. July is pretty much the last time you can get stuff like that in. So yeah, it'd be nice to have some free space to use for that. Main crop are all standing nicely. They've still got another probably month to go, I think, into August, maybe even September before they're done, but they're all looking good. The leeks are doing really well, actually. I still need to thin out this original box more. I was hoping to find some space to transplant some of them across. So I might have to have a little look round, see if there's somewhere I can find somewhere. And the ones I did move are doing well. Not quite as big as the originals, but they look happy. There's a couple of little spaces in that bed, so I might move a couple over today just to fill those gaps. Trying to give them lots of room this year so I can get some decent sized leeks. And there's a few little carrots popped up. Originally that had carrots in that bed, but the rabbits kept eating the tops of them. But a few have survived, so I'll leave them growing in there. Maybe in the future I'll have to interplant them with leeks to keep the rabbits away. I could even sow a few more carrots. I've still got time to sow carrots, so I might even do that another day. We've got one more potato bed at the back. So they were Charlottes, and they're not doing so well, don't look so great plants, but hopefully we'll still get a good crop out of them. And I did notice, I did sow some random pumpkin seeds. I did notice one of them had come up in the back of this bed. So I'll let that grow away, and that can just sort of trail down the side of the beds. And when the potatoes come out, that can take over there. Peas are looking good. We've had some good crops off of these peas. We've had quite a few little harvests and use these for quite a few dinners. So there's some more peas there that could be harvested. Lots of little pods still growing. So they've done really well this year. Really pleased with them. Must try to do more next year, I think. Try and get organised and give them a nice big bed. Strawberries over on plot 1, they're all done now. The ones at home are pretty much done now as well. Just pretty much slowed down all the harvest of those, which is a shame because they were really nice. But we had a good run this year, so I'll try and fill in some of these gaps. There's a couple of plants that aren't so big, so I haven't done so well. So I might replace them with a few that are growing in random places, and encourage them to grow. And there's quite a few runners that they're being put out now, so I might sort of bury them, just let them grow up in between the plants. There's plenty of space in this bed, so they can grow away. I can always move the plants later on if they're too crowded. The pumpkin beds have actually done really well now after it took a while to get going and a bit of rabbit damage, but we've got some really nice plants now. They're really getting some good size. This bed mainly under the netting, but they're doing well. The other bed is mainly empty at this end, but there's 3 pretty good ones at the top, so hopefully all these ones will trail over there anyway, so that'll fill up that space anyway. But the other 2 beds have fared pretty well, been pretty much left alone. There's some good plants there, so yeah, hopefully we'll get some good pumpkins. I think they were I can't remember if they were the blue pumpkins or the ones we grew last year that I saved the seeds from. But either way, they'll do well, and I'll just let them trail out over these paths. There's plenty of room for them to grow away. Over on the other side, at the moment this first bed is empty, but I'm keeping it clear. I've got another 4 squash plants at home in large pots. I'm just going to give them I'll probably give them one more week just to get a bit of size so they can hopefully survive, and also get past this heat of this week. We're going to have sort of 31 degrees this week for a few days, so I don't really want to put them out and then them sort of have to deal with that for the week. So I might plant them out next week, some into that bed and some into this bed, and see how they get on. It's a little bit late, but we'll see how they do. There's one soldiering on in the middle here. I think this is a green patty pan plant. That's doing okay. The next bed is done a lot better. So in here we've got a good patty pan in here. We've got a nice fruit on this one. So that one's doing really well. I'll have to see have a look how big they're supposed to get to before they need to harvest and everything. And this other one is doing really well. I'm not sure what this one is. Let's see, I think there's something growing on there. I'll take this cage off today, give it a bit more space to grow now it's a bit bigger. I was just trying to keep the rabbits off of the small plants. Then the next bed, this is a kid's bed. Still lots of peas, obviously they're all sort of going yellow and going over now. So I'll probably, next week or so, I'll bring them down and they can pull all those out. There's quite a few peas on there they can harvest, so I'll get them to do that, and then we'll perhaps resow this with more peas so they can eat the shoots and peas when it gets bigger. The baby corn at the back is actually doing really well this week. It's put on a lot of growth. Quite happy with that. So hopefully they'll continue to do quite well. There's only 5 there, so hopefully they'll be able to germinate okay. And there's a few leeks I sneaked in at the back there. They're doing pretty well. Last bed over this bit is the raspberries. There's a few bits of, I think that's bindweed in there, so I'll try and pull that out today. There's quite a few of the bits of that. But other than that, they're doing really well. Really happy with that this year. Hopefully we'll get lots of raspberries. I've just spotted the first one of the year down in here, so that's good. I'll have to see. I'll have a good look over it, see if there's any more I can find. That'd be good if that starts producing. Over the back, the sweet corn is really taking off now. It's really looking good. All looking nice and healthy. The first ones we planted out are quite big now. I'm glad they're sort of catching up. And the squash in here, there's one big, I think this must be it's a pumpkin, I think, a blue pumpkin. It's doing really nicely. That's actually quite a big plant now, so hopefully the sweet corn behind it will get a move on and grow so it doesn't get blocked out. But yeah, it's quite a decent plant. The other one in here is not doing so well. It's keeps getting eaten, I think. But hopefully this one will trail across, and the ones from the other bed will come across as well. There is a couple of other little plants in here. There's one here that's just come up. I did sow some seeds, so yeah, hopefully that'll keep going and get a bit bigger. And the last bed is this sunflower and squash bed. The left here is pretty much nothing. It hasn't really done anything at all. We have got a few of these salad leaves coming up, slowly coming up. Very slow to germinate, those ones. Over this side we've probably got about, I don't know, 7 or 8 sunflowers. There's quite a few that have been either snapped or nibbled. I think this is, unfortunately, this bed has got the sort of holes where the rabbits get through. So sort of the first bit they trample on and nibble at. So struggled a bit. So we'll have to do something about that next year. But it's got a few sunflowers getting going, but it's also got some nice squash as well. So we've got one down here that we planted out a couple of weeks ago, which is starting to put on some good growth. Hopefully, I think that's a courgette, so hopefully will get going now. And then we've got a couple more, which I think this must be a pumpkin, this one. It's starting to get quite tall. So that looks good. And then one at the back, again, I think that's a pumpkin. So that's looking quite a nice plant. I'll just leave these pots on them. I don't think I'll be able to get them off now without cutting them. So I'll just leave them around the base. Hopefully they'll just sort of grow over those, and that'll be okay. Yeah, but they're looking happy. So hopefully we'll get some courgettes out of that corner, and maybe some pumpkins they can spread across this bed. I might actually put something else in here while they're growing. Maybe some salad crop or something that's quicker. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, overall, looking good. Starting to think about next sort of stage now. Get stuff in for the winter. I'll get the chard in today, and then have a look through my box and see what else we can bring down next week. Maybe clear some more potatoes out, and maybe clear the rest of that bed out and sow some more peas or beans. Yeah, we'll see what we can get in through July, and that's pretty much as much as we can get in for crop this year then, I think. But it's all looking good. Later in the year I had planned to grow some more green manure. So I'm going to try and get it in earlier this year. So probably across the back when the potatoes come out around September. I think it needs sowing. So I'll try and remember to do that a bit earlier this year so it gets a chance to come up. The plants get to come up a bit more and dig it in. Hopefully that'll help the soil, improve the soil over winter when we dig it in. Yep, that's it. That's the sort of walk around today. I'm going to go and get that manure out the van. It's not. It's been quite warm, so it's not particularly pleasant keeping it in there. So I'll get that out, get that in the compost bin, and we can start on the chard bed. Here's my little haul of manure. It's quite big bags, so I'm going to get them in the compost. Doing quite well this year. I've got about half full, although it obviously keeps rotting down. So I'm going to get that manure in there, and then I'll empty the chard into there as well. Hopefully we can get it filled up this year. I've pulled back the netting, just cable tied on, so I just pulled this side out the way and put the chard in the compost bin, and there's a few little weeds in there I've just got out. So it's nice and clear now. I've given it a good soak. It was quite dry in there, so I gave it a big watering can of water, and that's all ready to go now. So I'm just going to sow a few lines, probably 4 or 5 rows of chard seeds. We'll see what comes up. I'm quite happy to transplant some later on when we've got some more room. And I'll probably take some, plants home as well once they've grown. At the moment we've got courgettes, potatoes, sunflowers, and a couple of beds of tomatoes. So once the tomatoes are done, I'll probably take a few plants home and fill one of the beds, just so over winter we've got, or into spring, we've got something to harvest at home, and some here as well. Might as well use it over winter when there's not much else growing. So yeah, I'm going to get some seeds in there, and then I'll close this netting back up. Last year we had a lot of trouble with the rabbits with the chard, so until I put the netting on, we didn't really get any crop out of the ones here. So hopefully this year, if I leave it on, it will do a lot better. There's my seeds in, so I've got 3 good rows. So I'll cover them back up, and I'll probably give it another water once I've done everything else. It's still quite dry deep down. So that's all my jobs done for today. I've moved a few of the leeks from the original bed and filled the gaps in this other bed. I'll have to do that again do some more at some point when I've got some room. And I finished putting the fence back around the chard. So hopefully we'll see some plants in a few weeks' time. See some of the seedlings coming up. So all I've got left to do is give everything a really good water. I'll go and get on with that. Normally takes me getting on for an hour, so it's quite a big job back and forwards to the water tanks. Yeah, everything's looking really good. Fingers crossed we get some good pumpkin plants, and these will keep growing away nicely. And yeah, hope you're all keeping well, and everything's growing on your gardens and plots. And, enjoying this weather, and I look forward to talking to you next week.